Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first training on cybercrimes, cyber threats, and the attack vector. This short presentation is to give you a brief insight of how our cancer center can be protected from cybercrimes. My name is Aniba Kenner. I am the cybersecurity specialist for our center. Now, the coming of the internet has facilitated a lot for our world. The center can now manipulate, store, and manage data digitally. This saves us a lot of space and a lot of savings on so many things. This comfort comes also with a lot of its curses. We have a lot of bad actors that are always trying to have to put their hands into our data, which is very dangerous. We therefore need to understand who these bad actors are, uh, what they can do, and how to prevent ourselves, protect ourselves. Now, the fusion of cyberspace and terrorism is known as cyber terrorism. It actually is an illegal assault and threats of attacks on computers, networks, and information that is stored on them. The healthcare system faces a lot of these attacks, a lot of cybersecurity problems, like malware that threatens system reliability and patient privacy, as well as distributed denial of service assaults that can interrupt the facility's ability to deliver patient outcomes, among so many other challenges. We're going to look at some of these bad actors, which will include the script kiddie. The primary one is a script kiddie who finds and exploits holes in internet connection systems using current and known application techniques and scripts and applications, and their attacks are haphazard. They have no knowledge of what they're doing, which is really very dangerous. The second one is the hackers, hacktivists. Hacktivists will ensure that certain software-based medical equipment are potentially taken away from the hospitals. Now, these can cause delays in patient care and even put lives in jeopardy. Breaches, these type of breaches, these NAS can cause breaches where patient medical information in that hackers may be in a position of accessing personal information. It creates a negative perception of the affected healthcare facilities, which is our cancer center, and access to patient data is delayed, which can cause also delayed treatment. Now we go to the negative impacts of some of these. These threats can cause serious damage, as listed on our slide, where we have a lot of interpersonal problems like death and divorce, drug substance abuse, just to name a few, as you can see on the slide. Now we have the advanced threat protections, which is defined as an array of security solutions that defend against complex malware and cyber attacks that target sensitive data, like reconnaissance. We have here different types of reconnaissance where they're able to just sweep around and maybe get different IP addresses. We have denial of services and access. Also, now we must note that it can be fatal if our center is unable to obtain patient information as necessary. We should always be able to have patient information. Hackers are fully aware of this, that we will be in dire need if we are not able to access our information, and they exploit this desperation. And unfortunately, most healthcare facilities do experience this kind of we get targeted frequently because of this vulnerability. So how can we protect ourselves? There are so many ways that we can protect ourselves. I'm just going to name a few in this slide, where we can create a web application firewall, which will filter everything that passes through the internet to our application, or to be proactive by creating an incident response plan, such that we are always ready in case of an attack. It is also important that we understand the differences between a vulnerability and a threat. A threat is a malicious act involving stealing and damaging a company's data, that is, stealing our cancer center's data. We must be alert about these threats. Meanwhile, a vulnerability is basically flaws or gaps in an institution IT security effort, such as a firewall flaw that allows hackers to gain access to a network. We must always be proactive and monitor our network such that we have no flaws that can be exploited. A cyber attack is a malicious a purposeful attempt on the part of a part or institution to breach another person's or organization's information system. Typically, the attacker is looking for financial gain from disrupting the victim's network. This can be done in so many other ways. I'm just going to give us a few examples here, like SQL injection, just throwing SQL codes that disrupt and provide data. We have the zero-day exploitation, which exploits a vulnerability that has not yet been identified or has been identified but still being mitigated. And then we have the DNS tunneling, just to name a few. A cyber criminal can resort to extortion via the internet. They will extort when they have your information for the purposes of money. There are attacks by ransomware. It's a different type of cyber extortion. And then we have cryptojacking. It's a type of cybercrime where hackers mine cryptocurrency using resources that they do not own, that they kind of use our resources to exploit cryptocurrency. And then we have cyber espionage, where it's a type of cybercrime where a hacker accesses our cancer center's data and uses it to exploit us. Let's go to the next slide. Why should we know about cybercrime and how can we protect ourselves? It is important to be able to prevent cybercrimes. Why? Basically, this is the concluding part of it. To conclude, we do have cybersecurity legislation. There is actually a law that protects all users of internet. Uh, this legislation, which provides rules of acceptable behavior for users of information and communication technology. This law protects ICT users. In general, it mitigates and or avoids harm to people, data systems, uh, services, and infrastructure in particular, as well as defending our human rights. So, this is a short presentation, as I earlier mentioned, and I hope that this presentation has been informative for you. I am looking forward to our next presentation. Thank you.